So, from what I'm understanding here about your conception of this, the citizenship. First of all, the founders made a distinction between the people and citizens in the founding documents, right? And in the early founding era laws, and because they used the people in the Second Amendment, they weren't specifically referring to those citizens or people with a specific level of political power at the time. And in addition to that, your understanding of the people as a term, as they used it at the founding, is basically everyone except for people who are literally directly working for other governments in either some sort of invasion scenario, like you've described there with mercenaries or whatever, or I guess diplomats or people like that as well.
Well, and it would include so you have to remember the other reason this would be important is because Native Americans were actively considered to be foreign,
separate country.
Yeah. And when they were because there was a lot of issues with, their conception of how land works versus, early American conception of how land worked. There was a lot of issues where they would be considered, a roving, mercenary thing. So that I think it fits. So I think that the easiest way to say it is that when these terms were used in the Constitution, there was the specific term citizen and the general term the people, right? And so if they knew what citizen was, why would they not use that term if they meant for it to be limited? Because I think necessarily citizen has to be more specific than people. Otherwise, that's a massive failure of English, right? I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying if that's what was intended, they failed dramatically. And then the other piece of evidence is when you later on look at the Reconstruction amendments, they separately refer to citizens, people, and all persons in an effort to kind of nip this in the bud. And they do it in that order, right? They do it in the order from most specific to most general. So there was citizens, the people, and persons. And that came quite a while after we just had the distinction of citizens and people. And so if you believe that the people is limited to some political community or something like that, my challenge to you would be, do you think that the pre-Civil War America, the restrictions that whatever you're imagining to be applied against this outgroup could be applied to a white commoner? Because they would have to be applicable to a white commoner if you're, making this political community distinction.